Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Steelers president hints at interest in trading for quarterback. The Pittsburgh Steelers struggled to find much consistency at the quarterback position throughout most of the 2023-24 season. And this could lead to them making a big move at the position this offseason, according to longtime owner Art Rooney. Rooney appeared on KDKA News, CBS Pittsburgh, on Tuesday, where he was asked about potentially making a move at the quarterback position this offseason if the price is right. To this, he responded that the team would not be closing the door on any possibility. "As we sit here in early February, we're not closing the door on anything," said Rooney. "We have a lot of evaluations to go through. We'll go through all the options and do what we need to do to be better this coming season." Second-year quarterback Kenny Pickett began the season as the starter for the Steelers. But a number of injuries along with inconsistent play led to longtime backup Mason Rudolph taking the starting job near the end of the season. Controversy then arose once Pickett was healthy enough to return, but ultimately did not end up starting in the Steelers' wild card matchup against the Buffalo Bills. This quote from Rooney isn't exactly all that much of a surprise considering Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin said last month that there will be a competition for the starting job this coming offseason. Still, it is very interesting to hear this from Rooney because Pickett is so young in his NFL career. It could be argued that he at least deserves one more year as the team's starter to prove himself. On the other hand, the Steelers are clearly a team that could be just a quarterback away from being a true contender in the AFC. A number of quarterbacks such as Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields could become available this offseason as potential targets for the Steelers. And it seems like there will at least be a discussion in the Pittsburgh front office about potentially going to get an available quarterback option to compete for the starting job. Will Mike Sullivan remain as QB coach? Should he? Will Mike Sullivan remain as the Steelers' quarterbacks coach? Should he? Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reported yesterday that he has heard the Steelers are interviewing candidates for the quarterback's coach position. The Steelers, of course, already have a quarterback's coach. Mike Sullivan has served in that capacity for the past few years. He acted as play caller during the second half of the 2023 season after the team fired offensive coordinator Matt Canada. While he interviewed for multiple offensive coordinator positions this offseason, he did not win those jobs. Dulac reported that Sullivan is still in the running to remain as quarterback's coach, but your job is obviously not secure if your employer is interviewing potential replacements. The Steelers did that to Chris Boswell once upon a time. They allowed him to compete to retain his job, however, and he won. In a sense, that's what the team is doing here. But will he win his job back? And should he? The quarterback position is arguably the team's biggest concern right now, so how much of that falls on the position coach? It's not as though he has Ben Roethlisberger to work with anymore, but the quarterback play has undeniably held the Steelers back the past two seasons. There has been an undue burden on the defense to keep the game competitive until the offense can rally in the second half of the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh hired a new offensive coordinator this offseason in Arthur Smith. We do not know how much influence he might wield on reshaping the coaching staff. Beat writers seem to be mixed on the matter, as well. At the very least, he has the right to offer an opinion, even if coaching decisions are ultimately at Mike Tomlin's discretion. Including whether the Steelers keep Mike Sullivan on board as quarterback's coach. While Tomlin did assign him play-calling duties after firing Canada, he named Eddie Faulkner interim offensive coordinator. The players routinely speak highly of him. He seems to be popular within the locker room. But will that be enough for him to keep his job? Should it be? The Steelers' 2023 season has been put out of its misery, ending as so many have before in recent years, a disappointing, blowout playoff loss. The only change-up lately is when they miss the playoffs altogether. But with the Buffalo Bills stamping them out in the wild card round, they have another long offseason ahead. The Steelers are swirling with more questions this offseason than usual, frankly, though the major free agent list is less substantial than usual. It's just a matter of, what happens next? Where do they go from here? How do they find the way forward? Steelers owner makes a telling comment about Kenny Pickett's future. The last few seasons have been somewhat of a roller coaster for the Pittsburgh Steelers. After Ben Roethlisberger left, their quality of quarterback play was bound to go down, as he is a likely Hall of Famer, a player that is cemented in Steelers history. The organization drafted Kenny Pickett with a first-round selection in 2022, but he hasn't quite panned out how many expected. He has suffered a few injuries throughout his young career, but even without the injuries, his play has been average at best. There is speculation that the team could be looking elsewhere during the offseason, a claim that was substantiated by team owner, Art Rooney too. Rooney had a conversation with Don Pompiani of CBS News Pittsburgh, where he said, "It's early February, we're not closing the door on anything." He also said the Steelers will do what we need to do to be better this upcoming season. Rooney seemingly indicated that change of some kind could be necessary, and a change at the quarterback position could make sense for them. Pickett was a good player at the University of Pittsburgh, and many fans liked that he was a local kid who was getting a shot with their favorite NFL team. However, in the NFL, it doesn't seem to matter what a player's background is, or where they come from. If they aren't performing well on the field, it's tough for them to keep any sort of momentum going. The Steelers still feel good about quarterback Kenny Pickett. They might eventually feel even better about someone else. Speaking to Bob Pompiani of KDKA-TV, Steelers president Art Rooney too did not rule out pursuing a veteran quarterback in trade. "Well, as we sit here early February, we're not closing the door on anything," Rooney said. "We have a lot of evaluations to go through, and we'll go through all the options and do what we need to do to be better this coming season. That doesn't mean they'll trade for a quarterback. It also doesn't mean it's a no-brainer that Pickett will continue to be QB1. The overriding goal is indeed to get better, especially on offense. Pickett has done nothing special, frankly, during his 2 NFL seasons to make him the clear-cut starter for 2024. The Steelers also have ongoing interest in Mason Rudolph, who played surprisingly well down the stretch for the Steelers, and who held the job even after Pickett recovered from an ankle injury. And you fan, what do you think of the Kenny Pickett situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.